All right, midterm season is in full swing, and I know you're probably cramming for that economics exam. But don't worry, we're about to boil down the absolute essentials of global trade. This is going to be a super fast review to get you ready in just a few minutes. Let's dive in.
So, let's start with a little pop quiz about the stuff you use every single day. Think about that coffee you had this morning, the smartphone that's probably in your hand right now, and the clothes you're wearing. What's the one thing that connects them all?
And the answer is, they each tell a story about our global world. You see, they're all products of this huge, interconnected system that stretches across the entire planet. And that system, as you know, is global trade.
I mean, just look at how normal this has all become. The beans for your coffee might come from Brazil, your phone was probably put together in Asia, and your shirt could be made with cotton from India. They all travel thousands of miles just to be part of your day. So whether you think about it or not, you're a major player in this giant global network.
Okay, so how does this whole network actually work? Well, it all boils down to two core concepts you absolutely need to nail for your exam: imports and exports. Just think of them as the two sides of the global trade coin.
The key here is all about direction, and it's actually super simple. Imports are goods brought into a country. Exports are goods that exit a country. If you can just remember those two little words, in and exit, you've pretty much got the foundation of all international trade down. But why do countries even bother with all this shipping back and forth? The reason, the engine that drives all of global trade, is this really powerful idea called specialization. To put it simply, it's all about doing what you do best.
So here's your textbook definition, the one you'll want for the exam. But a better way to think about it is this. Instead of every single country trying to do everything, making their own cars and growing their own coffee, specialization means each country just focuses on what it's uniquely good at.
And this is a perfect example. I mean, it just doesn't make a lot of sense for a country with cold winters to try and grow its own bananas, right? It's way more efficient for tropical nations to specialize in that and then export them. And in return, other nations can focus on building and exporting things like technology or cars.
Let's just walk through the logic here. It all starts when a country focuses on what it does well. That focus leads to better efficiency, which means they can make stuff at a much lower cost. And the final piece of the puzzle is trade. They sell all the extra stuff they made to the world and then use that cash to buy everything else they need. It's a simple idea, but it's incredibly powerful.
So what's the payoff from all this? Well, for us, the consumers, it means lower costs, more competitive prices, and a ton of different choices. And on a bigger scale, it can actually lead to stronger relationships between countries and even spark innovation as companies all over the world compete with each other.
Now, to get the full picture, you've got to understand that being this connected isn't always perfect. There's a constant balancing act, a trade-off between all the good stuff that comes from connection and the new risks it creates.
So on one side, you have all the awesome advantages: efficiency, more variety, lower prices. But on the flip side, you get some pretty big risks. A single storm or a factory shutdown on the other side of the world can mess up the entire global supply chain. And while global trade creates a lot of wealth, that money isn't always spread around equally, and sometimes it can even lead to job losses at home.
So what's the big takeaway here? The thing to remember for your exam? It's that the modern global economy is all about a balancing act. It's about trying to get the most out of those amazing advantages of being connected, while also trying to manage the very real risks that come with it. Understanding that tension is everything.
And that brings us to a final question for you to chew on. We know this system gives us our coffee and our phones, but as we've seen, it's not a perfect system. So the big question we're all trying to figure out is, what's the right price to pay for all this connection? Something to think about. All right, you've got the core concepts down. Good luck on the midterm.